Hi, welcome to Astrology for Gann Traders. My name is Olga Morales, and today I'm just going to look at something that I've been working on for actually my first book, Dawn of the Seventh Day, which I published in 2015, 10 years ago, based on the work of Sepharial. Okay, and he had a couple of books one called The World Horoscope and another one called The Hebrew Astrology. And I was looking at a cycle of 36 years, but going through planetary lords and a system that, honestly, when I was researching it, I couldn't find any other reference about it. But I did find a little section, half a chapter in a book that had links to the Rosicrucians. Okay, so I know that this cycle was used maybe in the mystery schools or the secret societies, and they kept it hidden a little bit. But the other thing is that I know Gann, most of the books that Gann was recommending to his students or clientele were Sepharial's books at the time, and it's very much into biblical prophecy, so it's got Bible cycles in it. And when I was researching it, I found that it took me back to Egypt. It took me back to the Great Pyramid. I love everything to do with Egypt, obviously. So I could see that these cycles were encoded in sacred temples and architecture. And so, it became an interest, obviously, for me. And when I was writing about it and finally put it into the first book, Dawn of the Seventh Day, um, I did a presentation for the Astrological Association, Victorian one, just our meeting, and I started speaking about this cycle, but this was in it would have been around 2015 or maybe the year after. I don't remember the date, but when I was presenting it, it was a little bit negative in a way, because I explained to them that the cycle was ending, this huge cycle was ending, and that Saturn would be the Lord for 36 years starting in 2017. And at the end of it, everyone sort of, well, not everyone, a few people at the front, they were sort of a bit uh, depressed with me, saying, oh, it's not really positive news for us. And I thought, well, look, I do the research, I put it out there, and of course, what happened? As soon as Saturn came into being the Lord, soon after that, we went through the whole COVID thing and everything was shut down, right? So, I'm always a skeptic when it comes to these cycles because they've been passed down. I like to test them. What's it based on? Oh, the other thing that really got me is that when Sepharial spoke about it in one of his books, he said that Nostradamus used this cycle. Okay. So anyway, I'll explain a little bit. And if you're interested, I've got this is the second book. You can't say that. I'll put it in the down in the links. Okay. And I'll show you a cover of the other one. But I go through all the cycle until the end. So this cycle, Saturn as a ruler, started in 2017 and will end in 2052. And I make a forecast for each one of those years in between, okay? So that's how that all happened. And so, but the thing is, it's not just every 36 years. Yes, we have this cycle, but it's even bigger than that. It's actually 3,024-year cycle for everything to start back. It's like this huge wheel, okay? Now, when I saw 3,024, I was blown away because through my research on the Great Pyramid, that is the number, okay? So let me just go through some of the slides here. These are the two books if you're interested. So the first one's called Dawn of the Seventh Day, which I published in 2015. And so the Dawn of the Seventh Day started on the equinox on 2017. And then I followed up last year by writing this book, part 2, which I've extended to the stock market. And, Gann's Tunnel Through the Air, which is his coded novel, had 36 chapters in it. Nothing's done by, it's not a coincidence. Gann was very structured in his book. He's given you clues and everything, including the chapters. And so, of course, we know that the 36 is also related to the astrological decans, but also the 36 year between not Jupiter, Saturn and Neptune, which is really important for us, especially next year. And so all these numbers, and it's a huge cycle. And then the other thing is, I was just researching today that when Neptune was discovered in 1846, in that year, Saturn was also conjunct Neptune, okay, but they were in Aquarius. But that next year, that will be 180 years. Now, for Gann, if anyone of you Gann followers that follow me, we know about Gann, 360 years, 180 years, you can make them months. So this cycle is really important, okay? So let's have a look at, I'm just going to give you a quick overview. And then if you're interested, obviously, more details in my research in my books, okay? So basically, there's a primary ruler that rules for 36 years, okay, which goes through the diurnal. The diurnal system is this side, okay? So you go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then we have a secondary ruler, which is a planet that rules for 12 years according to the natural order. So the natural order is the distance from the moon to the sun, the order. And then we have the overall zodiac signs. So it has to go through all the zodiac signs, which I haven't put in that table, okay, the 12 zodiac sign. So what happens then, is that we get this is quoting Sepharial, by the contrary revolution of the planets according to their natural and their diurnal orders, each sign of the zodiac is ruled jointly by 2 planets. From the combined natures of these planets and their appointed offices in the world, presage is made concerning the destinies of several countries according as they come under the rule of one of the other signs, okay? So Sepharial also had a list of countries and what signs they were ruled by, even cities. Now, I don't know where this comes from, how long ago it was used. I mean, people have changed them. But in my book, I've just put exactly what Sepharial had listed in his book, okay? There have been some alterations by other astrologers, but I'm just sticking to the source. I'm not sure where he got them from. It doesn't say, so I don't know. But it's been passed down through tradition, and I think it's been passed down through the Rosicrucians, okay? So this is more information. The Hebrew, so it goes back to Hebrew astrology, okay? So this is biblical astrology. So the Hebrews divided a period of a year, 360 years, into 10 periods of 36 years, and they distinguished these periods by the name of the 7 planets in rotation, so that in a period of 36 times 7, or 252 years, there was a complete planetary cycle. This would then at once be recognised as 1/10 of the week of prophecy, or 2,520 years. So those people familiar with scripture prophecy. But they also employed a cycle in relation to the planetary one that is a reference to the signs of the zodiac, and thus derived a period of 252 times 12, or ends up to 3,024 years. It would be observed that this number of 36 goes into 7 times, exactly 70 times. That is to say, 2,520 divided by 36 is 70. And thus we are brought in terms of the 2 divine numbers, 7 and 10. It would also be seen that 3 and 12 are also employed in the formation or fulfilling of this period of 2,520 years, or 3 times 7 times 10 times 12, and that equals 2,520 years. And these are all cycles in the Bible. Like if you go to Daniel, he talks about all these cycles, okay? And these numbers are also found in the Kabbalah. There are 3 mother letters, 7 double letters, 10 Sephiroth, and 12 simple letters of the simple letters, sorry, and the 32 paths on the tree of life. However, because 7 is doubled, the hidden number within the tree is actually 5,040 years, and that is 3 times 14 times 10 times 12, or 39 paths. In the Kabbalah, there are 7 stones, okay? So they're just things that I added from my own research, and it's a building up. Okay, so it's really fascinating research, and it's completely different to what we would call traditional astrology or any type of astrology. It's really quite different. Now, what I've just summarized a bit. So what happened was on the 20, now this cycle starts on the 21st of each year, okay? It's not the beginning, it's not January. It starts at the equinox. So on the 21st of March 2017 was the beginning of the new 36-year cycle, but also the bigger one, which was 3,024 years, okay? So the next cycle was Aries. So we've gone through all the zodiac signs, and then we get this new cycle, which is Aries, starts in Aries, and the lord of the age, it calls it, is Saturn. So Saturn is in Aries. Overall, he's the lord for 36 years, starting from 2017. This is a completely new cycle, and last time Saturn was in Aries and ruled for 36 period was in 1008 BC, okay? That's how far back it went. And yeah, that's 3,024 years ago when I did in 2017, okay? So it's a little bit more years now. So this is the whole cycle. So 12 planets times 12 signs times 36 years, and that's including all the cycle in itself. And they are, obviously, the 36 are also the decans. And so that is 3,024 years. I knew this number from my studies of the Great Pyramid of Giza. If you want to learn more, it's in my book because it's so amazing. It's incredible. So this is what I had in my book about 2025, according to the cycle. So the secondary, one of the rulers, the diurnal, and the secondary, and then the sign. Okay, so it was Mercury, Jupiter, Sagittarius for 2025. So I write foreign trade and travel because they're the actual planets involved, highlighted, and religious conflicts, because Sagittarius is to do with religion, okay, and traveling and foreign relations. Now, according to Sepharial, these were the countries that are ruled by Sagittarius: Spain, Australia, Hungary, Romania, Yugoslavia, and Libya. Okay, now we know Yugoslavia is now 7 separate areas, but I'm just using his terminology, okay? Now, the interesting thing is we know that this year, really, there's been a whole trade war with the tariffs and stuff with Donald Trump and the whole thing with trade. And also we've had religious conflicts, they're ongoing. And yesterday in Australia, we had this attack, a massacre. 16 people are dead and many, many others injured. I think it's 30 now. At a Jewish celebration of Hanukkah. I think that's how you pronounce it. The first candle. So, that very much links into the Sagittarian energy too, because it's a religion, okay? And I've got religious conflicts in here. And Australia is believed to be ruled by Sagittarius. Now, how did they come up with these things? Well, if you put geodetically, if you look at the zodiac signs on the world map, like Sydney has got I wrote it down because I always forget, Melbourne's got 17 degrees of Sagittarius, and Sydney has almost 21 degrees of Sagittarius as a geodetic rising sign. Well, yesterday the sun was at actually 22 of Sagittarius, okay? So do these things work? I mean, really, it's just like, it's there. I've got it in my book. I write this 10 years ago, Okay, and I'm just following the codes as keywords as has been handed down from Sepharial and whoever else. And the fact that he said that Nostradamus is using this cycle, I can see it because Nostradamus had the centuries and he had 6,000 years, I think it was. And you can see that, in the Bible it says the day of the Lord is like 1,000 years. Okay, so every planetary ruler, which governs the day of the week, is the same as ruling for 1,000 years. So this is how they're able to do this cycle. So anyway, it's very intriguing. I just thought I'd put it out there. And if you're interested, I mean, my book, I put a lot of work into it. The forecasting goes, as I said, to the end of the cycle. This one, I apply it to the stock market too. I look back, okay? The first one is more to do with mundane things. And I look at how Gann was using, why he put in 36 chapters and Tunnel Thru the Air. And anyway, it's not for everybody. It's just for people that are interested in Gann, this sort of 36-year cycles, the scripture prophecy, and anything unique to help you understand the cycles. That's how I do my research. So anyway, thanks for listening. And this is my website. I'll be putting up more videos every week. If you want to subscribe, if you're interested in what I'm presenting, it'll be exciting. I've got a lot of interesting things to talk about next year. And yeah, bye for now.